Oh, I just loved that because I'd heard some of his Olympic stories.
Yes.
More just kind of the hard facts, right? And the pomegranate story. I always heard it was one hand, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Which I wonder. Because a guy that big, like you think Andre the Giant,
Yes.
right? Because he had to have been someone like that, right? An aberration, right? To have been that competitive in a sport that brutal for that long, he must have been something different.
Fair.
And so, yeah, I think of Andre the Giant, and yeah, you could just about clasp a pomegranate in a hand that big. That's how I'm picturing this guy. So, yeah, I'd almost believe that. And then there was this legend. And what I didn't know, and what I ran into a little bit of research almost accidentally, was his military career.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he actually fought for Croton, or Croton, however you say it. Except for he didn't go with all the armor and everything. He went with loincloth, a lion's mane, supposedly from a lion he had strangled to death with his bare hands.
As one does.
In an age of spears and shield walls and things like that, he came with a club. Put all that together, and what do you got?
Hercules.
Heck yeah, you got Hercules.
Or Heracles, rather.
Or Heracles, yes, it was the Greeks. But yes, absolutely embraced that I am Heracles, and apparently pulled it off pretty well.
Do you know the rest of the story?
Tell me.
So it was against... so Croton was actually a Greek colony in southern Italy. And they were fighting another Greek colony, Sybaris. And they were outnumbered 3-1. So they get their phalanxes up and are marching towards each other. And out comes Milo, who everybody knows about. He's very famous. Everyone's heard the stories.
And he comes out dressed
He
as
comes
Hercules.
out dressed like Hercules and charges. The Sybarians panic
I would.
and scatter. Nobody dies.
Wow.
The Sybarians sue for peace. Milo wins the day without shedding a drop of blood. Everyone is so panicked at the sight of him. And you know what? I don't blame them.
No. No.
I know, like, a shield wall is supposed to, trust the man on your right or whatever.
Well, yeah, the phalanx depended on morale.
Yes.
Right? You absolutely had to believe that if you held your place, you were going to be okay.
But if he's coming right at you...
Hey, I'm supposed to stick that guy with a spear? He's going to be mad at me. By the way, we have a beautiful comment in the chat here from Cad Harker. Andre the Giant used to put his hand over Buttercup's head like a hat to keep her warm. The pomegranate doesn't seem like much of a stretch. Buttercup from The Princess Bride, the movie, where he played a giant. And yeah, I said, I believe the pomegranate story. I honestly believe it was one hand.
Okay.
I think he could pull that off.
Now, it wouldn't be one of my stories.
If it didn't end in death.
If it didn't end in death and horror.
These are all dead athletes. So
These are all dead athletes.
It tracks.
Some of them die in happier circumstances than others. Let's talk about the death of Milo.
Not happy.
He is going from Croton to a neighboring village. And he decides, I don't need no main road. I'm going to go straight through the forest. Because I fear neither man nor beast.
Maybe you should, Milo.
He comes upon a tree trunk that some woodsmen have cut down and started to split, but have abandoned and left there. So it's a tree trunk, and it's kind of half split open with these wedges driven down into it.
To help keep it separate, help them keep the division they've got so far.
Exactly. So he comes up, and I have been around strong men. I know how they think. This completely checks out. He looks at it and thinks, I bet I could break it in half. I bet I could do it. So he grabs this thing, lifts it up, and I can perfectly imagine how this works. He rolls it over, picks it up, digs his hands in, pulls with all his might, actually gets it to separate a little bit, and the wedges drop out. He loses strength, and it snaps shut on his hands. And he is now trapped with both hands inside of this great big tree trunk.
By the way, the version of the story I heard, it wasn't separate from the ground, so this was a tree trunk in the ground, so he would now be pinned in position. He was trying to rip apart the tree trunk in the ground.
Why would someone be trying to split a tree that's still in the ground?
To get it clear. It's a land clearing technique.
You split the tree from like the top down?
You split, then you can essentially kind of like pull it out, right? And then you pull it out by pieces.
Interesting.
To get the roots out.
So in the time that we've been talking, Milo is sitting there very patiently when the wolves come and he is devoured. People come and find his carcass, and everyone but him lives happily ever after.
Yep.
Man, I wish I had a happier ending than that.
Yeah. We could have just ended it earlier.
We could have, but that's not really my style, apparently.
Nope. All the way.
So that's Milo.